guys, I'm a huge fan of Peter Sarsgaard. Last time I saw him was at London Film Festival from memory, and it's an absolute pleasure to have him back. Hello.
Hi.
Mate, this is epic.
Thank you.
Okay, the thing that left me asking everyone is, guys, where do you get your news from? And how do you fact check it?
Yeah. Well, you have to get it from a variety of sources. I mean, I get most of my news from sources that rely either on donations or are publicly owned. So I would say, that for instance, in the U.S., Democracy Now! With Amy Goodman, that's a source I use. Reuters I could use. I kind of combine things.
What do you do?
I mean, I used to be in this whole 24-hour loop of the news cycle, and then doing this, I've really reevaluated that relationship. I hope other people, as they watch us, will reevaluate how they consume news. It's crazy. I mean, in America, it's really crazy because it's a monetized system. You know, it's based on ad dollars. So who can you trust?
People now just go to social media, which is bonkers.
Well, I've never done social media, so I know it was just a choice early on, and then I sort of stuck with it, and there were periods where I wish I did it, and I was jealous of people that did it. You know what I mean?
You're better off not doing it. Trust me.
Well, like a stubborn old man. You know, I was jealous at the beginning because I lived away, so I wanted. My sister knew more than I did about myself and people I went to school with, but so I've never really consumed news that way.
You know, amongst those, like, say, 5 pretty reputable places that if there's a common denominator of information, I assume it to be true.
Okay.
If there's a lot of difference, I'm dancing on marbles for a while.
You got to question
I
it.
also think it's also become this world of calling things fake news when they're not fake news. I think you got to have a global perspective, look at sources outside of your little bubble. Reading news is probably better than watching it, but it's tricky.
I try to subscribe to newspapers and do ones that still try to adhere to journalistic ethical standards, but I think everybody needs to learn how to receive information. Now they get it in their pocket, and now they get an algorithm that adapts to what they want, a greedy algorithm that feeds their desire, and I think most people don't question it. They're quite happy to hear what they want to hear.
Hey, the other thing as well that I think is really interesting, this idea of morality. What is the right thing for humanity, and what is the right thing to do in the position you're in?
I mean, this idea of what we prioritize in terms of news is very interesting, because human nature wants gossip. Human nature actually wants misery. We also want joy. It's maybe just like trying to balance those two things.
You guys all were brilliant. I mean, this bunch of actors together, what's it been like for you?
Such a good cast. Oh, it was amazing. It was like one of those, when you're working with actors who are all on the sort of same page, and I mean every actor in it, I mean background artists as well, they were amazing. So when you're all pulling in the same direction, it's hard because it's, you know, work is hard, but it's a pleasure, and it's as easy as it can be. It was a joy to work on.
The character you played, Jeff, there were moments I loved him, and there were moments I hated him.
Yeah.
How did you wrestle with that?
I think that's the interior dilemma of him, but I didn't want to play it like good guy, bad guy. I just wanted it. He was doing his job. Because this is what Jeff Mason really said, the real Jeff Mason who I talked to. So he was doing his job. There was no time to think. It wasn't until after that he was able to sort of analyze what had happened and the decisions he made.
When you look at the news, it's mostly misery, and it's mostly things rising to the top where you go like, okay, this celebrity did something kind of crazy, but why is that the leading story?
Because it was the Grammys on the weekend, and you know the thing that engaged the most online, which drove me mad, was Kanye West and his other half going on the red carpet. Well, there were all these amazing musicians that won incredible awards for their work. That was the thing that engaged the most.
I know. Sure, it wasn't an accident, yeah. I mean, and look, and also you think of what engaged the news globally, and what the top stories are, and you think of all the shit that's happening in the world that would be worth knowing about. It's a little upsetting, but I don't always think the thing that's most worth worrying about are crisis situations like, you know, shootings, if we don't then do something about gun control. Like, otherwise we're just sort of, you know, wonder what's going to happen with the shooting. I wonder how many kids are going to be killed. I mean, what are we watching?
My final question is this: before you get rushed up, you're somebody who's not afraid to have an opinion, and I think a lot of people that I interview are so afraid to say the wrong thing.
Yeah.
How do you not get lost in that?
I'm an only child.
I love that.
I think I just always talked this way. I don't know how to not talk this way. If I don't say what I think, it actually eats at me all night long, and I'll have to come find you and tell you.
Please don't change, because it's refreshing and I love it. Congratulations, powerful performance. Thank you so much for the chat. Lovely to see you again.